End of the year, really. It is.
You hear a belly growling, it's gonna be mine.
Want to see somebody you haven't seen in a while, most time they come to that.
You know, for the thousands of people
No, thanks.
down there, well,
I got Copenhagen. I'll make it.
within a half hour, streets are bare, everybody.
Right. Very little trouble. I've heard.
One, please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please. Here. Here.
Councilman Corey Oxford,
Here.
Councilman Bob Farkhurst,
Here.
Councilman Gary Fluke.
Here.
Okay, let the record show we have a quorum. We'll move forward. Has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? two amendments to put on the agenda. One is under the police department and it'll be the MOU with the sheriff's department with dispatch. The other one is under the fire department and it's the contract with the fire district. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with the two amendments?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the two amendments.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Everybody had a chance to go over those. Okay, do I have a motion to go ahead and approve the minutes from the last meeting in May?
I would make a motion to approve the last meeting in May. The agenda for the last meeting in May.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We also have another set of minutes from that meeting, the public hearing. I have a motion to go ahead and approve those minutes.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes from the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to approval of the bills. We had deposits in the amount of $563,576.20. Accounts payable in the amount of $150,747.76. Transmittals in the amount of $27,763.58. Payroll in the amount of $52,872.30. Have a motion to approve the financial report and pay the bills.
I'll make the motion to approve the bills.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving on to correspondence. We have the Carbon County Visitors Council Member at Large nomination. Mike Armstrong.
The Carbon County Visitors Board of Directors, approved Mike Armstrong unanimously. They just need your guys' approval. His letter is attached in your packet. Read it, would you like me to read it?
Yes, please.
Alyssa Jefferson and Discover Carbon County Board. Appreciate consideration for the at-large position. I am currently the Hannah representative for Discover Carbon County. My term expires June 30th. It is my second consecutive term and it is for another person to step into that role for Hannah. It is time for another person to step into that role for Hannah. I believe I am more suited to the at-large position because I have strong contacts with most mayors and councils of the different municipalities, and they know I am serious about promoting tourism in Carbon County. I truly believe tourism and Discover Carbon County can make a difference in and retention of the county's youth to Carbon County. I would like the opportunity to continue my efforts to contribute to helping a thriving organization that promotes tourism in Carbon County. My background is strongly rooted in understanding the benefits of tourism, although the jobs have varied. First, my work as the rep for Hannah makes me aware of the responsibilities of a board member for a town concerning the board. As an at-large member, I would work with each board member to help, but not circumvent, with each town. I have been on an executive board for the past 3 years. I see this at-large position as being a bridge where possible to the CEO and the board members because I would have an overview of municipalities. My position as a reporter for the Carbon County Comment for the past 2 years has had me become aware of the different towns and their unique characteristics. I have been to every museum in the county with the exception of Sinclair, which I plan to change soon. I know all the county commissioners, most mayors, town clerks, and treasurers. I believe having these contacts can serve the board better as an at-large rep, Discover Carbon County than it did as a Hannah rep. I am also in contact with the heads of Brush Creek and Saratoga Resort, which has its benefits from Discover Carbon County. Mike Yannis from Brush Creek, not sure of his exact position, but he is one of the head guys. Jim sent me his biography on Bruce White. The contacts with different restaurants and hotels is strong because of my work with Carbon County Common. There is, in my practical knowledge of the industry, and I am currently the bar manager of the Virginia Hotel and one of its general managers. I have been in this position for almost a year. I own and managed a restaurant in Laramie, Wyoming. 9 years ago, TripAdvisor had ranked us #1 in the city out of 97 restaurants until we closed. The building imploded. I've worked for several venues in Carbon County over the years, the Hotel Wolf, the Lazy River Cantina, Firewater Public House, the Saratoga Resort, 2 different times under different owners, and currently the Virginia. I owned and managed a restaurant in Taiwan for 7 years, and I manage a huge restaurant bar in China over a year. While I was in Taiwan, I was Jim Beam's brand ambassador for a year. For Ocean Spray, I was brand ambassador for Taiwan and China for about 5 years. This experience gave me firm exposure to marketing and branding strategies. While living in Honolulu, I was a desk clerk at the Imperial Hawaiian and later assistant manager of the Hail Aloha Youth Hostel. I believe that's supposed to be hotel, I'm sorry. At the hotel, one of my responsibility was to take hotelers on weekly hikes throughout the island of Oahu. It was my job to recommend where they should go while visiting the island. While living in Noosa, Australia, another major tourism hub, I worked for a top 20 restaurant in all of Australia, running its bar and again, giving info to visitors that came in. I'm very comfortable with working with different nationalities because of my past jobs and I can speak basic Chinese, though it gets rustier as each year goes by living in Carbon County. I've taken tours with Asians on several occasions and I understand the wants of those who book them. I have hiked many trails in Carbon County, done mountain bike rides in the north and floated the North Platte River on numerous occasions. I have been snowmobiling in the snowies. I have gone on fly fishing and hunting expeditions, but the fish and animal should be in no fear of me. I am a good enough shot to do an ethical kill, so I don't try. I'm not a good enough shot to do an ethical kill, so I don't try. I've taken hunting classes offered by Game and Fish. I know how to cast, but so far no luck. Embarrassing that I have to be successful. I hope this gives you enough information for you to see. I believe I would bring a lot of position if selected at-large board seat. Thank you for your consideration. Respectfully, Mike Armstrong.
Any discussion?
Sounds like a long-winded feller,
Yeah,
well-rounded.
well,
And do I have a motion to go ahead and make a nomination for Mike Armstrong as member at large to the Carbon County Visitors Council?
I'd make the nomination to go ahead, name to that.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll move on. Carbon County Library System, 4th of July parade.
This is from Jessica, the program manager at Carbon County Library System. If it's wanting to, they can set up a small booth right there at the marquee during the 4th of July parade to hand out cold treats, some books. She said they're gonna make sure they clean up after themselves and leave the space just as they found it.
The council have a problem with that?
No.
Do I have a motion to go ahead and approve the library to set up a small booth underneath our marquee on town property there?
I'd make the motion to let them go ahead and set up their booth on town property.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to items from the public. It's like we have some special event permits, and the first one we'll start with Amanda Notwell.
Hello.
How are you, Amanda?
Vertically challenged.
There you go.
Thank Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, put in the special permit for, and I gotta say it slow because I keep messing it up. 4th annual 5K. I keep calling it 4K. A board member talked with John recently and, what we'd like this year. Last year we closed off the road by where, the fire department is and set the big inflatable start, stop, finish thing.
Are
We
you
want to do that
talking,
again.
are you
So,
talking River Street?
yep, river where, because that's already closed for the pancake breakfast.
Okay.
And so we started and stopped there last year and I'd like to do that again. But what I'd like to do, we closed the bridge for the takeoff. But since it's such a short time, I was hoping we could close the bridge for like the hour and a half that it runs.
You want to close from East River across Bridge Street to South River. And South River, do you want to go all the way to the hot pool entrance again, or are you just wanting to do to Spring Street for the finish line? But last year, didn't we come out from the hot pool out to South?
Last
River?
year we came back the same way over the bridge. That's why I want to close the bridge for the whole.
Right. But I mean, it starts at the hot pool, right?
We're starting it at the, it started and stopped at the pancake breakfast.
Okay.
So basically start and stop, same place like we did last year, but we only closed the bridge for the go. But there was so much traffic coming back and to go, everybody goes at the same time, but coming back is so it would be, we start registration at 7 AM. The go is 7:30. I put 9:30 on there. It never lasts that long. Last year we were done by like 8:40. Cause it takes only an hour to walk. And we'll go that same route and use the, down road all the way around the golf course and back, just like last year.
I'm close from Spring Bridge to East River. Up,
Just for that short, like 2 hours.
yeah, for the
Yeah.
2 hours.
Cause last year I had 160 runners.
You had 160?
Yeah, and I'm hoping for more. So it just makes more sense to close it for the whole remaining, cause I'll have that many people coming back.
Oh.
Like, yeah.
Go.
And it's only like 3 blocks. It's only like 3 blocks or so for them to go down to the other bridge.
Are you good with it, John?
I'm good with that. I think that'd be easiest for traffic control.
Would it?
Yeah, last year I think Mike and I kind of blocked with the leaving, but coming back, it was so scattered. Of course, everyone gets spread out by the time they're finishing up the 3.2 miles or whatever
Right.
5K is.
No.
That's why I thought it's just easier to close it, because that's the first part is them coming back. It's not all at the same time.
So basically from 7:30 till 9:30.
Correct.
Council?
And once I have like the last one in, I can let John know, and it could be even earlier than that time.
Discussion? See a problem with it, as long as John's fine with it. Probably safer to close it for the whole event.
Make the fire department very much aware of this in case they do get a call. It may have to get opened up for the fire department. That'd be the only fire department or possibly the ambulance, either one, but that would be the only thing I would see. Chair would entertain a motion to go ahead and approve this. Closing of the bridge.
I'll make the motion to approve it.
We have a motion, go ahead and approve the 4th annual Flat River Independence Day 5K run, beginning at pancake breakfast at the firehouse and ending there also with the closing of the bridge from East River to South River. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, we'll move on to Mr. Joe Elder with Saratoga Days.
How are you?
Mayor, council, treasurer, rest of you fine folk. I think you have before you a permit application. This will be the 11th Here, what used to be Togi Days is now Saratoga Days, and it's basically the same as last year. Same format, same open container time. Just from Bridge Avenue at River to First Street. Vendors, bands will start at 3, Black Lilies, that 80s band, and then Chancey Williams
Okay.
again this year. No real changes. I think we're gonna barricade again.
Yes,
For there at River Bridge.
correct.
And I think Kiwanis will be, they're gonna do a, not Kiwanis, but the pickleball nonprofit's gonna do the cornhole in the Veterans Park there, but that'll be earlier in the day. I don't know if they've got their own permit or.
Haven't seen one, so,
Well, I don't think they require any street closures for theirs because it's in.
It's in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not on the street.
We do have a cleanup committee for the night of, and then also the morning after, early in the morning, 6:37 to get down there and get it.
Okay. You have any issues, chief, with closing that off?
No, I've been working with Joe and Mac Levains. We've had at least one, if not 2 meetings so far this year going over stuff for it. I've actually already got bracelets for age verification stuff already ordered. Just working on those sort of details.
What day is this, Joe?
July 5th, Saturday.
We usually pretty much have the street closed all day until the stage is moved out of the way in the wee hours of the morning. Last night.
Any questions? I have a motion to go ahead and approve this special event permit for July 5th, Saratoga Days.
I'll make a motion to approve the permit, special events permit for Saratoga Days on July 5th.
You have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thanks, Joe.
I would also mention that same day at the community center, there'll be the arts festival again. This year, that's gonna be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. instead of Saturday, Sunday. And on the 5th Saturday, that Bill Shore is gonna do the car show again in the parking lot.
Okay,
And on the 4th, Ray and Jamie Bernal are gonna do a fashion show using the Chambers trailer stage in the parking lot. So a few other things going on.
Okay. Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, guys.
Yep, thanks, Joe.
Okay, we'll move on to a special event permit from Karen Smith's Lively Ace grand opening.
finally.
You can do whatever you want with it.
Okay. So the special event permits for the 26th Saturday. We're gonna be doing the grand opening in the store, but then we're gonna combine that with the 100-year anniversary party for the store. So we'd like to close the street. I'm not sure of all my streets, but it's South River, I think.
You wanted to do the east side of the building?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be from Bridge, it looks like you had from Bridge Street to Spring Avenue
Yes.
on South River.
And it was more, I wasn't sure about that, but more to kind of to where the warehouse ends. So we don't have people coming through that alleyway. Just we thought with safety. So we're kind of open to wherever you think would be best.
So basically close the alley.
Close the alley and South River Street is what they're requesting.
Okay,
So, and then we'd be utilizing part of the warehouse, and just that east side of the building.
okay. Gonna have an open container too?
Yes.
Okay.
And we've ordered the 21 bracelets and we're working with, Scott and Michelle.
Okay.
To figure out all that.
Chief? I'll fall back to you.
So you're wanting the street closed from noon until 9 PM?
I would defer to you. So the store's actually gonna stay open until 3, which is past our normal hours,
Mhm.
but the outside part isn't really supposed to start until 3, but I think we need some setup time.
Okay.
So however you think that works best. I wouldn't want people parked out there, I
Right.
guess.
That's the biggest problem is getting all the vehicles out of the way
Right.
for the street closure.
So for our purposes, I don't care if we close it first thing in the morning, just, but that's more up to you. I don't really know how that works.
Right. What we can do, and we've done in the past, is to ensure those spots are available, is have cones to close off parking spots before we actually close the street is an option for that.
Okay.
But otherwise, yeah, noon to 9, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Discussion?
No, it's open container, you have,
I believe that's what you call it, yes.
oh, everything's better with open container. All about it.
Any other questions? I have a motion to go ahead and approve this special event permit. June 26th,
July.
July, okay. For Shadley Hardware,
I'll make a motion to approve this permit for Shively's new Ace Hardware.
do I have a second?
Paul second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Okay, and then we have one more special event permit. This is from past council member John Nelson and his annual office party.
Just gonna have a little shindig at the shop again this year. August 1st, Friday. Main reason for the permit is because we will have a band outside again. It'll be on our property. We're not gonna look for a street closure or anything like that, but more of a courtesy. You guys know what's going on. Parking was a topic of conversation when we applied for the permit last year. So we'll kind of follow the same procedure. They will be street parking. We'll have overflow parking down at never figured needed. But didn't have any issues last year. I think it'll be smaller this year, frankly. I'm trying to make it a little more low key. But still be a lot of people in one spot and make some noise for a few hours. So I think I had on there 5 to 10 PM.
Yes, 5 to 10.
So and it'll stop at 10. Any questions?
No.
No. Nope.
Hey, do I have a motion to go ahead and approve this special event permit for Mr. Nelson?
I'll make the motion to approve this permit.
I have a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
You're all more than welcome to stop by and wander through and check out things.
Okay, we'll move on to we have Kathy Beck and Rachel Swanson, Carbon County Prevention Network.
Hello.
Members, Mayor. Rachel and I are here to talk to you about some updates to the prevention, Carbon County Prevention. We have an in-person meeting Monday, June 9th, this coming Monday. It's at 5:30 at the Community Center. Anyone's welcome if you'd like to come out and hear more about the program. Our June's theme this month, we're emphasizing the importance of community resources. These resources play a vital role in fostering well-being, support, and connection within our neighborhoods. Access to local resources such as libraries, community centers, support groups, and educational programs can significantly enhance the quality of life for individuals and families. They provide opportunities for learning, social interaction, and assistance during challenging times. CCPN encourages exploring the resources available in our community and consider how they can be of benefit to yourself and others. So some that we listed in the packet that folks are can access later if they'd like to. You can check that out on things that get posted once Jen updates those on the town website. Public health, higher ed, QPR, All One Health, YO Help, 988 Lifeline, Wyoming 211. Those are the most common accessed resources here in Wyoming. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and 1 in 5. The Valley opportunities that are coming up, we've mentioned times on the last couple of meetings that we're looking for people to join us for the Connect team. Remember that Connect helps our community during times of tragedy, specifically traumatic deaths. This team truly makes connections in the community for families. Connect has developed protocols for educators, community members, faith leaders, hospital emergency departments, law enforcement, mental health and substance abuse providers, military, primary care providers, and social services. So if you look at that list of folks, that pretty much encompasses any number of people that are part of our community. So if you're interested at all, please let us know. There's contact information there for Rachel. Her number's 307-329-3172, and she can give you more information about that. We will be having an introduction to the program to Connect June 16th at 5:30 at the community. And Rachel's going to talk to us about sources of strength.
Good evening, everyone. Those of you who haven't heard of Sources of Strength yet, Sources of Strength is a youth suicide prevention and mental health promotion program that uses strengths-based approach, focusing on strengthening protective factors like social support and healthy coping rather than solely addressing risk factors. So while it does focus on youth, it truly is for our whole community. Everybody of all ages. I personally lean in on the wheel every day myself. So the program leverages peer leaders and adult advisors to change norms and behaviors, fostering a more positive and supportive environment for young people. A couple of really exciting things that have recently happened. We were gifted a sizable donation from the Jeep Club over in Rollins, which is helping us move forward with implementing Sources of Strength. We have also been supported by St. Barnabas. They're donating money to cover the cost of background checks for the adults that will be involved in the program. So our next phase here coming up in June, we're going to be training our adult advisors. And then in July, we'll be training our peer leaders. And then at the end of July or sometime in between then and early August, we're going to host a large event to launch Sources of Strength into our community. That will involve a DJ, food, lots of fun. And we are still looking for people who want to be adult advisors or peer leaders. So if you know of anybody or yourself wants to be involved in Sources of Strength, then please reach out. I did also bring a small resource bag for you guys. It's at the front desk.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, thanks, ladies. Okay, we'll move on to reports from departments, and we have town hall as the first one. And there's been discussion while we've been going over the budget of the campground fees out at the lake. They are currently at $15, correct?
Correct. It's $15 for electric and $10 if you just stay there.
We wanted to, it was talked about and with the ladies about raising these fees for the, at least the electrical part of it. I think we're kind of going backward on it. One of the numbers they come up with is $25
$5 for electric and then $15
for non-electrical. So what's the feelings on?
Everything costs more. I'm for it. We have to pay more.
So,
I'm for it. Yeah.
do I have a motion to go ahead and raise the campground fees at the lake from 15 with electric to 25 and from 10 with no electricity to 15?
I'd make that motion, raise those fees.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, we'll move on to ordinance 883, 25, 26 budget on the second reading.
Ordinance number 883, ordinance to provide income necessary to finance the 2025-2026 fiscal budget of the town of Saratoga, Carbon County, state of Wyoming. Be it ordained by the governing body of the town of Saratoga, Carbon County, Wyoming.
Questions? Do I have a motion to go ahead and approve ordinance number 883 on its second reading?
I'll make a motion to go ahead with ordinance 883 on its second reading.
Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Okay. Next form of business is we have a new hire.
Jamie Messina, applied for the town hall / police department custodian. Rena Brendan and their last one, she's a perfect fit. We'd like to hire at $18.50 per the wage, $18.50 an hour per the wage scale. The time will be split, I believe we put 70-30, so 70% of the wages are gonna be coming from town hall. 30% John's gonna pick up.
But I don't know. Okay.
Any questions? Of course, this will be pending a background, which shouldn't be a problem because she works at the school. Do I have a motion to go ahead and hire Jamie as the town hall part-time custodian at $18.50 an hour pending a background investigation?
I'd make the motion to hire Jamie Messina as town hall custodian at $18.50 per hour.
Pending
Pending, yeah.
the background. Okay. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, we'll move on to the police department and I'll turn it over to you for a couple items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. First thing, last couple of weeks since the last council meeting, it's been kind of busy. We had 200 law calls. The holiday weekend and last weekend, I had extra patrols going for occupant safety with the YDOT grant we had. Ended up having 28 traffic stops came out of that. I didn't bring the numbers with me, but ended up with many municipal citations for court to deal with. There's been 3 K9 deployments, 2 of which were negative. One was actually canceled prior to Officer Lear's arrival. He was going up to assist up on the interstate. And they ended up getting consent to search, I think, before his arrival. And for my actual agenda items, first one we have, it's actually in addition to the vehicle that we approved last time. I found in that quote, it did not have the stand and dock for our computers in the truck. So this quote is to add that along with the power supplies and everything to go with that. That's $1,489. And that'd be coming out of the same vehicle funds.
Questions? You don't have any extra laying around?
Not that it'll fit in that truck, no.
Do I have a motion to go ahead and approve this invoice for Havas laptop mount with swivel arm and Lind power supply for the amount of $1,489? That's all.
That is. They will be installing that there, so it'll come in the truck, ready to go.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Okay.
All right, the next one is the ProForce. It's actually 3 separate quotes. The first quote on there for $564.20 is for a Glock model 46, 47, I can't remember. Glock's got so many numbers. But it's for a new duty weapon for myself. I'm the only one that's still carrying my personal weapon. I'm not carrying a town-owned weapon. And so this would be a town-owned firearm for me to carry on duty as well as a tactical light. I come to $564.20.
Okay.
The next item, you want to do each one individually or go through all three of them?
Just go through all three of them.
Okay. The next one, invoice number 721-556 for $2,606. That is for the Glock simunition pistols, which fires a paint round used for training. They're very effective because they're not just marking rounds, they hurt also, which is very effective in training situations. And then that's also 1,000 rounds of the marking ammo. And that'd come out of my training budget that I've got left in this year's budget. And the last item on there was for 4 helmets to go with the training rounds and goggles. But I'm actually dropping that one because I can buy them for 1/6 of the price on Amazon if I just buy paintball helmets. I get those for $50 a piece instead of $2.99 a piece for these ones. And they're the exact same thing.
So basically you're dropping the
I'm dropping the
1,200?
yes, the 1,210 I'm not gonna do through them. It would end up being 3,170 and some change. 3,170.
Questions? Have a motion to go ahead and purchase these 2 items for the police department totaling $3,170.20.
I'll make the motion to go ahead and get these 2 items.
So a second,
I'll second it.
any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you.
Yep, and thank you. And the last thing I have is, am I going over the contract for dispatch services?
That's why Miss Sheriff is here.
Oh, I didn't even see you back then.
You want to come up, Alex, please? We've got the final version of the contract for dispatch service between Carbon County Sheriff and the town of Saratoga and the Saratoga Fire Department. The attorneys worked on this vigilantly all day. So the only thing that, when it first started out, there was a point in there for 5-year contract. That's not in here. I did, Kylie reached out to Ashley, no response back. She said, if that's something we want to stick with, she said it's a quick, easy amendment to this. So between that, Sheriff, would you give us an idea about how it's going?
Mayor, Council, I did touch base with Ashley this afternoon on that 5-year and gave her the thumbs up for that, so I would expect that amendment would be effective as soon as the lawyers do their lawyer things. But I just wanted to give a couple updates to the council. Back in April, when we were working together to cover some night shift dispatching for Saratoga, we used it as an opportunity to run almost a pilot test, if you will. Make sure that if there were going to be any operational difficulties, we identified them back in April and not July 1. And I'm happy to report that things went fairly smooth and there's minor kinks to be worked out. Most of them have already. So come July 1, it should be a fairly smooth transition. And we had our progress meeting last week with our dispatch supervisor just to make sure that everything was still on pace and on track. And I'm happy to report that everything is. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our dispatch teams, both in Saratoga and Rollins, for all the hard work they've been doing, and the attorneys for all of their verbiage adjustments.
Any questions for the sheriff?
No.
I would like to move forward if somebody would entertain a motion to go ahead and approve for me to sign this contract /MOU with the sheriff's department for dispatch to begin July 1st of this year.
I would make the motion to move forward with it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Looks like July 1st. I'll get it signed and get copies back to you and we'll move forward from there.
Thank you, sir. And just one thing I did forget, we are going to create an advisory board. Just made up of the primary stakeholders are going to be involved in this project, just so we can ensure that the transition goes smoothly and everyone has a seat at the table to ensure everything goes off well.
Well, thank
I'll be
you.
reaching out to you later in regards.
Great. I appreciate that.
That's a good deal.
Thanks a lot. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Okay, we'll move on to the fire department. And I don't see a fire department number. Okay, so we'll move in. We have a quote in there for Rod's backhoe service. They want to start leveling off behind fire department. They're going to use it for parking. We have a quote in here for $3,070 for leveling behind there. Is there any questions about that? Do I have a motion to go ahead and approve Rod's backhoe service to clean that up and level it out?
I'd make the motion for Rod's backhoe to clean it up and level it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And then Creed come in today. And they got a quote. This is, I believe all this equipment's for their new ladder truck. And it's in the amount of $9,614.50. Are there any questions about this? I will say the fire department does an excellent job. They monitor their budget very closely and things are really good with them. So I have a motion to go ahead and approve this quote of $9,614.50 for fire hose.
I'd make the motion to approve that.
You have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and then they have another quote from Menards for lighting in the amount of $1,681.16. Any questions about that? Do I have a motion to go ahead and approve this $1,681.16 for lighting?
I'd make the motion to approve it for $1,681.16.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And then the last but not least, again, this is kind of a late thing, but they're before you. We can approve it tonight. You can read through it. Kylie sent us a clean copy, and when the meeting started, she had sent me a text that fire district's attorney in favor with the two little corrections that are in red. And are there any questions with this mutual aid agreement with fire protection?
Chief,
Pardon?
you spoke with chief and.
I spoke with the chief and I think Creed's the treasurer. Don't quote me on that. They are the ones that caught one little wording mistake, which has said the district equipment and it should have been the town equipment that we provide insurance for. And then the other one was Kylie noted on there that payment will be made to the firemen directly from them, and for the equipment use, it will come to the town. Are there any questions? Do we want to go ahead and pursue, move forward with this tonight?
I think if the fire department's good with it, we should be good with it.
Do I have a motion to go ahead and approve for me to sign this mutual aid agreement and contract with the fire district?
I'd make the motion to sign this mutual aid agreement.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I believe that's it from, fire department. We have the recreation department.
Nothing new to report for me. The next meeting is tonight
Okay,
here.
Mr. Carter.
All I have really is a quote for 2 new Tailwind extra tall lifeguard chairs. As our current lifeguard chairs are not in compliance with health department.
would you explain how that come about?
The health department paid a visit, I think it was last Monday. And one of her requests was to get those chairs up to the standard.
She did allow us to open
Yes.
with.
Yeah.
With replacing these 2 chairs whenever we could. Do I have a motion to go ahead and approve the purchase of, these 2 lifeguards? Chairs in the amount of $5,760.82.
I'd make the motion to move ahead with the purchase of them.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you, Carter.
Yeah,
Any questions for Mr. Carter? I guess the pool opening went great.
went great. Today was another great day. And just want to extend my gratitude to Emery and his guys because we
They've worked hard.
worked hard on it.
You worked hard too.
Yeah.
Good
But
job.
it's going great.
Great.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to Department of Public Works.
Okay, gentlemen, item number 24. So next week, we are going to get kicked off on replacing a block of water line over on Elm Street. We are going to be shutting the road down there at 3rd up until essentially 5th. We'll be getting notices out on Bigfoot and on Facebook, et cetera. The plan is to start work there in the intersection at 3rd, build our way to the west. I anticipate about 30 to 40 days to get that all done. So we'll work through 4th of July. We'll have everything buttoned up and backfilled for the 4th. So we've got everything in and out of the way. That's kind of what's going on there. So if you see traffic control signs and stuff coming out over there, that's what that is for. And then on this West Bench sewer project, we got everything, all the plans buttoned up, went through them with Brandon and Chuck and Craig multiple times. What we settled on a lot of these lines up here on the hill that were a part of the special purpose tax project, the main issues we've had with them is the brittle clay and then the root intrusion at the joints. The grades were good on a lot of them, but there wasn't a big reason to essentially dig them up. With the grades being good and there being no stair steps in them, so we're going to line those with CIP cured in place pipe just to reduce the cost on all the lines that had stair steps or have significant pipe issues. We will dig up and replace them. So it's about 7,000 feet of pipe total. Half will be CIP and the other half will be open cut excavation. There are a couple of question marks that we couldn't camera because there are a stair step on both sides of the line. So there is a possibility when we do start getting into the project that we may have a line that may have to go from the CIP side to the open cut side. We don't have any groundwater. The asphalt's minimal. So that's why the cost, I guess, I'm going to say is low compared to what we did water line wise, because we're not having to go back and pave a ton of road. The CIP lining, we figure with the reduced quantities and the amount of excavation that we're going to have to do, which includes resurface, restoration, all that, we're looking at about 450 to 500K savings is by going that route. I don't think we have a lot to lose going that way. We can also do that in the winter too, weather permitting. Doesn't affect any of the carrying capacity. They will have to clean and camera everything prior to them doing all that. So and then we'll review those prior to them installing the CIP. If anything at that time shows up that is really questionable, we may have to move that to the open cut. We have add alternates on there as a part of the project. These lines were not on the special purpose tax, but they're in need of being replaced. We don't know why they didn't end up on the list. So we'll get prices on them through this process. If the price is good, we can look at cashing them or we can move them to the project, when we do the river crossings, we did a line item in that project for some work up there if we wanted to do that also. So we'll see what costs are coming in at. We're not required to award them, but if we want to, if it's good, it's gonna be a little bit more money on the FRF side if we wait. So if the prices come in low, it's something we could look at and award any combination of the other alternates that we wanted to. But I mean, we did it. I think we got a pretty good package put together on this. I'm excited about getting rid of all the stair steps, straightening out some of the grades on them. CIP is a super cool component that we will save a lot of money on. The technology's better now on that than it's ever been. I think, especially with no groundwater, if we were downtown, I get a little iffy about the CIP having that cure right and adhere to the pipe, but up on the hill, minimal to zero groundwater, it should work great. So project timeline, we're looking at hopefully getting this out to the paper here in the next few weeks. Pre-bid meeting towards the end of the month. Bids due like July 19th. Now, if they come in, because we did come late to the table, this was a pretty big push to get this designed as fast as we did. If we come late to the table and it shows, we can always wait until October or November and throw it back out again. We don't have to do this. Needs done, but it's not an imminent emergency. We don't need to throw money away just because we got a number put on the table. If we only end up with one bid and don't look right, we can wait.
I like that idea.
So hopefully, I don't know what state of the economy maybe we'll get. It's a good project. Maybe we'll get several people looking at it. I hope so. That's where we're at on that. Do you guys have any questions about? If you got any questions, just call me. If somebody sees something that's wonky, let me know. I mean, none of us are perfect. That's why we can do addendums if we need to.
Okay.
We have exhausted, me, Chuck, Brandon, Craig have looked over them, 100 times, but you can look at something 100 times and still miss a period. And we are using the same contract docs we have on all the other projects, big fat EJ CDC 700, same writing and everything as we've done time before. So if anybody wants a 300-page read, copy.
Yeah. Do you know when has that ever been upgraded since that?
They've replaced a few lines around there. And I think, Jared, you've been around, seen them do that. They've fixed a few of the stair steps throughout history over time.
Yeah.
But there's, I think, 3 eras of projects that kind of compose that west bench. We have better details on some of the Brandy stuff. There's an area down on 6th that Craig was able to find a couple as-builts from a really old project, but there are some unknowns. There's a couple sections we don't have a lot of info on.
Yeah.
So
certainly needs done, I would say.
Yeah, and 7,500 feet that's a pretty good project.
Yeah.
So. But it just shows you, we're with all the ad alternates, if we awarded everything, the estimate's like $2 million. Did 1,500 feet of water line. Being their same price. So it just shows you how expensive asphalt roads and parts really start driving project costs up pretty quick. A couple other things. We're gonna start curb over at the park. It's gonna be here on the 16th. We'll be doing a little dirt work over here next week. Aerial larvicide application mid-morning tomorrow. We'll start fogging tomorrow night also too, is the plan for mosquitoes. We are still looking for people. So if you know somebody who wants to drive around in the beautiful Saratoga evening for a couple of hours, 3 times a week, I'd be very happy to have you. Great to work with.
I don't believe that.
And then we went over the plans a little bit. I handed those out at the last meeting for the bathroom, maybe the meeting before. I did get the contract documents back from WLC. Those are all done. They're approved. So we could advertise for the bathroom probably next week. I have one little detail on the ADA parking spot that we're cleaning up, and then that's ready to go and get bid and get built. While we wait for the amendment on the rest of the sidewalk and grass and sprinkler system and all that jazz.
You want a motion to go ahead and go out to bid?
I would like that, yes, if you guys don't mind.
Do I have a motion to go ahead and go out to bid for the bathroom over near Veterans Island for Never Forget Park?
I'd make the motion to go ahead and go after the bids for it, for the bathroom at Veterans Island near the park.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
We did have the seniors help clean up the corner over there, where Teensa's Memorial's going. On Thursday, we'll finish taking that old sign down and digging the stump out. Sounds like they're gonna do a little concrete work there here in the near future, so we'll still keep working on that. We had 23 people come out on Sunday for a cleanup over at the Hobo Pool and the Vets Island area. I think that went pretty well. Took me kids over there with me and my wife and a bunch of other people, and we picked up a bunch of trash. If you have cigarettes over at the Hobo Pool, please put them in the deal. The amount of cigarette butts that were all around the area was pretty mind blowing, and there is a cigarette deal right there. That's an area that's free. It's kept up for everybody's convenience. Please don't trash it. There's, and you don't see a lot of the garbage that ends up in the grass and stuff, but I mean, there was a ton of bags that got trashed and stuff that got picked up over there. Appreciate everyone that came out and helped with that. Mentioned the mosquitoes. Yeah, and then we got mowing and painting and all that other good stuff that kind of goes on seasonally that we're working on right now too.
Well, I want to thank the guys for what they're doing in the streets and the mowing they're doing and weed eating, and I want to thank you for having them do that.
Yeah, we appreciate it. You guys support us well and lets us do what we need to do. We are
Looking good. The town's looking good.
We are sweeping. We've had some messes I'm sure people have seen on the roads. Our sweeper, not the new one, the conveyor belt broom is being egregious. So
Yeah.
we are aware, be patient with us. We're trying to get it figured out. Planning and zoning, if nobody has any public works questions.
Mm-mm.
Hey, we are working on the sign grant, kind of with Planning and Zoning Commission and myself to get those signs we approved the scope for. Hopefully we can get something turned in here middle of June. And then the draft ordinance that I brought up at the last meeting, I'm probably about 70% through with that. So I plan on having that done and having that be able to look at that at the next meeting with kind of option A and option B is maybe some changes we can make for accessory buildings. If we're going to do it, let's start working through the process. I don't want to sit on it for 6 months. Let's move forward and get something going. We got 2 more variance applications on the table, 2 special use permits, and we got a meeting next week. And then I did get all the information Cindy needed over for her so she can do what she needs to do to get to go ahead on doing a little investigation over here. How long that'll take, I don't know. They're like she said, they're pretty backed up. So got the ball rolling on that.
Okay. 2 new variances to go before, did that fall under our new pricing?
No, they were in before that got fully approved.
Okay.
P and Z questions? None. Powers board. The only thing, the main topic that we talked about was kind of how we do our billing. That there's a redundant step in there, and so we did have a discussion about removing that redundant step. They were all in favor of that. Russ was going to make some calls on their end to the state auditor's office to make sure there was no problems. And then we reached out to Tim, our auditor, to make sure he didn't see any issues. But basically, there's just this roundabout pass through of funds causes a delay in invoicing. It's one extra step everybody's got to keep track of. And as far as we can figure, it's really not benefiting anybody right at the moment. So we had a discussion about streamlining things a little bit on our end. So hopefully that July 1, we kind of talked about moving forward with that. So be an update on things have changed a lot since that inception of the board. There's things we can do that we couldn't back then and vice versa.
That part needed change.
Yeah, it was a really good, discussion on multiple fronts. I was pretty happy with it. Everybody's working together. We're all working together. So.
Any questions for Mr. Emery? Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Emery.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, we'll move on to. Yes. can I ask what this is regarding? Oh, sure, come on up. You may have to go back up.
Thank you for your time. I'm concerned with the mosquito abatement. I've been a beekeeper for many, many, many years. And as you know, there's some beekeepers, including myself in town, that are concerned about it. The new drivers, last year and a few years in the past, they've driven in the alley and it's killed a lot of my bees. I hope they won't spray where my house is, and there's some others, and I think you know the location.
Yeah.
I was connected with this mosquito abatement in the valley. And I've lived here when mosquitoes were so bad, you couldn't go outside, so I understand that. But I got out of it because of legalities. I didn't, so. Bees in, mosquitoes out, sundown. Yeah. I think we'll be fine. I'll leave with, bees are a great barometer of the environment. And if bees are dying, something's wrong. Thank you, that's all.
Aren't your bees inside most time in the morning when they spray for plane? Right? With the plane?
They start coming out right at sunrise and they go in.
So it's mostly just in the evening when they spray?
And there's a few that die, I mean, linger and even after sundown, that I can live with, but a couple years they've decimated my hives. And only because I guess the drivers didn't know or just forgot about it and drove down the alley. I might add too, on the alley, I think it'd be a really good idea if we could get a lot of the owners to actually trim the alley, because that's where they hunker down in the daytime. If we would clear all that brush, it would really help out. I do have a mosquito trap in my house and I haven't seen any yet, but they're coming.
Yeah, and so tomorrow that larvicide application is what we're doing. It's a bacteria that only affects the mosquito.
Yeah.
It's the adulticide that can kill bees and black flies.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you.
yeah, you bet.
Thank you.
Hey, do you have that flagging back in the alley?
I got a sign.
You do have a
in
sign.
the alley, and I'll put flagging too.
Okay, Recreation Commission, your next meeting, you already reported on that, so we'll move on to the Saratoga Advisory Board. And it looks like we have a couple of estimates that they'd like to get through. Arlen, since you're here, you want to go ahead and present them?
Sure.
Come on up.
Well, we're really excited to see the airport moving forward, and we've got big projections for the airport. But, you know, as you drive by the airport right now, and thank you, you know, for all the hard work putting in the sewer. We really appreciate that. But we want to make it look really nice, just really outstanding whenever these guys fly in and out, that it just really sets things off. So we had, you guys had approved a bid for us from a contractor earlier, and he backed out. And so then we had to back to the drawing board, so to speak. And so we have a local contractor here for Wyoming Log and Timber that he has submitted a bid to do the primary work, but not the installation of what we want to do with the artificial turf and that. So we have two different bids, and we was hoping that you guys could run these through for us today.
Okay. One from Wyoming Log and Timber and the other one from King's Snow.
Right out of Laramie, yeah.
Okay. evidently the clerk didn't get the new copy and I didn't get them till late. What is Log and Timber's final quote?
It is 20, you got that?
Because on here it actually shows two different prices.
Right, yeah, so it's gonna be $27,375.
Deletes the
So it do,
sidewalk
and the same.
and the sand.
Okay. So then you want them both approved?
Yes, sir.
Wyoming Log and Timber does not know how to deal with artificial turf.
Yeah, it takes someone who knows what they're doing to
Yeah.
kind of work one
We
done up
want to go
there.
that direction instead of real grass, just so we don't have to irrigate and.
Well, both of these quotes come in about as cheap as the one quote did come in from the people out of Rock Spring.
Right, right.
Any questions from the council on these?
What's not on this quote then? The sidewalk you said and.
We took the sidewalk off because we just, the Glodes decided that where they're gonna be putting the monument. You guys know all about the monument. It's constructed up there. We're excited for that. Not to go with cement around that. And instead, it will have the artificial turf. It's the same type of turf that would go on a professional football field, so it would last, for forever pretty much. And it's they're warranted for like 15 years, but they say that there's really indefinite. So.
Mr. Mayor, may I approach to, we found a replica, same guy who's doing the monument. Some of our friends flew into Sedona, Arizona, and the exact miniature. This is what it's gonna look like, only bigger.
Okay.
But that's the Shively airplane in Arizona. They've got a couple of them. So that's what they want it to look like.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fabulous monument, and Wyoming Log and Timber, of course, donated the base. They're constructing it and building it for just to donate it. So that's really a big plus there. That's probably about $15,000 monument.
Blake is the one who's doing the sign for us right now too. Same company, same guy.
Okay. Any questions? Other questions? We can do both of these quotes at the same time. We have a quote from Wyoming Log and Timber for their portion of the work for $27,275.
It's $370.
$375, excuse me. $27,375, and we have a quote from King Snow, the amount of 28,000 or 27,000, mine's blacked out,
$27,748.
Okay. Is there any questions? The chair to entertain a motion to go ahead and approve these two quotes for the airport.
I'd make the motion to go ahead and approve the two quotes for the airport.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Dedication will be that Sunday after Triblay's grand reopening on the 26th, on the 27th. It'll be the dedication of the.
Okay. All right.
There will be a big fly-in over.
Okay. Very cool. Thanks, guys. Okay, and we'll move on to swims. And we have a new person that's going to be replacing Marie. And Mr. Martin, would you like to come up? You bring a copy of your little letter?
No, sir, I did not.
Would you like to read that to us? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Town Council, everybody. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be considered a Saratoga representative on the Schwimm's board. If chosen, I will uphold professionalism and integrity, representing the Saratoga community with dignity. With 10 years of EMS experience and 20 years in emergency medicine as a PA, I am eager to contribute effectively.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Mark?
Glad to have him.
Yeah. Do I have a motion to go ahead and approve his nomination?
I'll
For
approve
me to
it.
appoint him to the Schwimm board.
I'd make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome to the
Thank you.
board. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for doing it.
No, you can have it. All right.
Hmm.
That's part of my. Okay. Do I have a motion to go into executive order? Executive session to discuss personnel matters, litigation in accordance with Wyoming statute 16-4.405.
I'd make the motion.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, you guys are free to go. You may too, if you want, if you so choose. All right.
Give it to me. I'm probably gonna be the one writing anyway.
Make it scramble.
You guys can't write.
Meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?